Hello and welcome to the show. I'm taking today's recording at my desk, and my neighbor is still doing renovations, and the other neighbor has let his peacock out of the house. So, that's where all that noise is going to be coming from. The screeching noise, that's from a peacock. All the hammering, that's from my neighbor who is doing some work on his house. Now, this is your first time of listening to the podcast. Don't worry, this is not a show about my neighbors. It's a show about business education. So I would appreciate it after you listen to the show if you talk to it about your friends and family members so that Nigerians at home and abroad can benefit from all the questions that we tackle over here. They can do that by subscribing on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of their choice. And if you in particular have any sales and marketing questions, bring them to me. You can call, you can SMS, you can WhatsApp me on 080 6466 2140. Now, today on the show, we are going to look at another listener question. And this one is from Miracle in Abuja. And his question is on how to get sales on the Glovo app. Miracle also happens to run a restaurant in Sun City in Abuja. And he did the smart move of trying to put himself on the Glovo app because remember that for those of us who run businesses, our first and our primary function is to try and be everywhere that our customers are because we are trying to chase market. We are trying to create a customer. We're trying to make some money. So it only makes sense that if we think our customers are on this app or that app, in this location or that location, we owe it up to ourselves at the very least to go and taste and see. If they are there, then continue. If they are not, we can always make a U-turn. This is life. There's nothing that is set in stone. So even though Miracle has a physical restaurant, he figured this Glovo thing, may I try himself? Let me just give you one shot. Now, for those of you who don't know what Glovo is, and by the way, any information that you hear, here, when I'm trying to talk about facts and things, please make sure that you go and verify. Because I'm human, I make mistakes, and sometimes the gist that I've heard is not correct. So verify. But if I'm saying anything, and we're talking about principles of sales and marketing, rest assured, you can take it to the bank. That one is 100% correct. But if I'm talking about facts and figures of this business or that business, I beg, go and verify first. Don't say because I've said it that, what I've said is truth. So, Glovo, for those of you who live in Abuja and in Lagos, because the vibe I'm getting is that Glovo is mostly like a Lagos and an Abuja thing. So, those of you who live in PH, if Glovo is in PH, let me know. UKD people, if Glovo is there, let me know. Where else? If Glovo is in Sokoto or wherever, or in Bayelsa, just let me know that, okay, we have Glovo over here. But for now, Glovo, Glovo, the impression that I get is that it's mostly a Lagos and an Abuja thing. Now, Glovo is a mobile app, of course, so it's an app on your phone that originally came from Spain. That's the gist that I heard. But like I said, go and verify. If I'm wrong, please let me know. So, originated in Spain, and the idea behind it is on-demand delivery services. In other words, it is supposed to be an app where you will order anything you want. If you want paper, order. If you want to buy scissors, order. If you want to buy cabbage, order. If you want to buy anything at all, order. Okay, apart from human organs. So that's supposed to be what the app is meant for. But in usual practice, in normal practice, what I'm seeing now, just based on, people around, my cousins here and there, because there's this cousin of mine here, he's a foodie. The guy can chop. Like, the guy likes to lem, as in, he's half my size, but twice my weight. That's how bad the thing is. Every time I see him, I'm like, Kai, bro, you need to take some action. Anyway, so the guy is a foodie. So he's one of these Glovo people, always buying food from Glovo. Although in my own opinion, I'm wondering, if I buy something and, the food is worth like 8K and then delivery now enters like 5K, like what's the... Anyway, that's Misha. Doesn't make sense to me. But there's some people that do that. So, based on what I'm seeing, based on what I'm hearing, it's as if most people, when they go on Glovo, what they do is they order food from restaurants or, they buy one or two groceries, or maybe you buy medicine, pharmacy stuff, and then maybe, some retail things, like soap, face cream, all these kinds of stuff. So that's what most people seem to use Glovo for. So if you've never heard of Glovo before, Glovo, in my own opinion, from the small interaction I've been doing with people, it looks as if that's what Glovo is all about. Now, remember what I said at the top of the show, that as business people, our primary homework when we wake up every day is to try and figure out where are our customers, where are our clients, how can I reach them, how can I penetrate that space where they're there, because the goal is I'm trying to make some money, and money will not come and find me in my own house. So I have to look for a way to go and target these people. So if like Miracle, you have physical restaurant, and then it looks like this Glovo thing, they pop off, you go and give it a try. So, where was I? So as a vendor now, because Glovo, these things, you call them two-sided marketplaces now. So you have Glovo in the middle, and then on one side you have vendors. That's people like you and me. Those of us where they find market, we're looking for customers, will be on Glovo. Then we also have people, retail customers, people like my cousin who likes to chop. He's there. He's the clientele. He's the consumer. So that's how these things operate. You call them two-sided marketplace. The app is there, vendors, they're one side, and then customers, they're on the other side. So the vendors now on Glovo, like Miracle in Abuja, who has this restaurant, they have, you don't have a profile. I just call all of them profile. But, depending on the app that you're using, the name will change. So for Glovo, they don't call it profile. They call it Storefront or they call it listing. So that's what you have as a vendor. You have Storefront or listing. Now, when Miracle called to say that this Glovo thing is not popping off, it's not working, what I told the guy was, you know what, right now we're on the air, so we can't really talk in detail. So send me a WhatsApp message. Let's talk in detail. But the guy didn't send a WhatsApp message. So anyhow, let me just make this episode and just throw it up like that. Just freestyling on the matter. Now, the reason why I said the guy should send me a WhatsApp message, let's yarn, is because when you're trying to diagnose when something is going on in this kind of situation, whether you're on Glovo, whether you're on Jumia, excuse me, whether you're on Konga, or whether you're on Amazon or any of these two-sided places, there are lots of factors. So we need to ask some questions before we can drill down and figure out exactly what's going on. So I've told you guys now that first thing as a vendor, you get storefront. So on the storefront now, there are some things that now comprise the storefront that we now have to start checking one by one to figure out where is this problem coming from. The storefront, definitely, you have a name. Your name has to make sense, by the way. Don't go and collect a name that is off-putting. Then, number 2, logo. Your business logo. Number 3, images. Since Miracle is in the food business, images is very, 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 very important for him. Now, I don't think Glovo does service businesses. Like me as a business consultant, I don't think I can have a profile on Glovo. But for somebody who is selling food, the image has to be on point. The photography has to be of good quality. Because remember, the whole point when we get on these sorts of things is we're trying to make ourselves appealing. We're trying to make ourselves enticing. We're trying to make somebody run after us. So if we take a picture, like your Asun might be the best in town, might be the best in the world. But, excuse me, if your picture is shaky and grainy, as if it's your 2-year-old son who took the picture, then it's not going to help you. Then there's also the menu that is part of your storefront on Glovo or your catalog. And then there's ratings and reviews. So there's other ways that we can go about this. But for me, I would have started asking questions about these things first. Let's try and figure out what the problem is. Has your profile, has your storefront, has your listing, has everything been set up right? So the reason why is this. Since all of us here now, we're all business people, we've been hearing some people say things called SEO. SEO just means search engine optimization. Search engine optimization just means how can people find me online? And a lot of times when people are asking that questions, how can people find me online? The question they're trying to answer basically is how can people find me on Google? So the scope is the same. The same way we want to organize everything our websites, our photos, our, everything, so that when people search, they will find us sharply on Google. The scope is the same. When you're on Glovo, when you're on Amazon, when you're on Jumia, when you're on Konga, the scope is the same. How can people find me easily on these sites? So that is just the scope. So, in theory and in practice, if you optimize your profile, your storefront, your listing well, it should make it easier for you to get orders. So, course of action number one, whenever these kinds of things happen, is I try and see how far with the profile. You don't optimize. Is it optimized? That is the main thing. So how to optimize your storefront, your profile, your listing, your account, your whatever it is we now take this list that I've come up with and start going small. Remember, I said there are some other things that will need to be fixed. But if we start with these first, how many? Is it 4, RB5, RB6? Anyhow, if we start with these ones, we are beginning to now diagnose what's the problem. So that's the reason why I wanted to have a conversation with the guy. You send me a screenshot. Let me see the profile. Let's look at the photos. What's the quality of the photos like? You don't have to go and pay a professional photographer anymore, because the phones that we use nowadays are solid die. For instance, yesterday, I was in a meeting with a lady who runs a charity, and the charity is against gender-based violence and rape. And we're discussing, some other things, how I can support her project. Now, she uses iPhones. She uses 2 iPhones. Then I was talking about how her phone is very sexy, because her phone is a very sexy phone. And she's like, I beg, this phone is old, is something. I told her, you can sell 2 of them now, because she has 2. I said, you can sell 2 of them and you buy iPhone 16. At least you see it like around that kind of 600K. She said, She said, where? I said, iPhone 16 is like 600K. She said, no. She said, it's 1 point something. I said, I didn't realize that iPhone is that expensive. Anyway, so that's how she was checking out my phone, and she said, which phone is this? And I said, this is Xiaomi. She said, Xiaomi. Because she's Igbo. She said, Xiaomi. I said, Xiaomi. Now, you've never heard of Xiaomi. She now turned and saw the back. She said, it's Redmi. I said, it's all the same now. And Redmi, yes, lots of people say Redmi, but the original name is Xiaomi. And then she started saying, now my phone self is good. My phone is correct. My picture quality is on point. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to hire an expensive photographer. If you have 2 iPhones, any of those iPhones will be good. If you're using China phone like me, you're using Xiaomi. Even Xiaomi itself is good. It's on point. All you have to do is make sure that the place where you're shooting your food, make sure that it's well lit and clean. If you can put it next to the window for that natural lighting, it'll be good. If you want to try and use ring light and all those sorts of things, it can work. It's just that, to be honest, especially as a former photographer, that kind of deliberate technical lighting, it requires a lot of skill and training. So you have to go and learn work to get good results from that. But if you open your window, you carry nice white bed sheets, cover the window, so that as the light is coming through the window, the light is now soft and diffused. You get a good shot. I'm just trying to show you how you can get good pictures without having to go and watch YouTube. But yes, if you want to watch YouTube and get ring lights and then flash and then this light and that light, sure, no problem. It's all up to you. But I'm just trying to let you know that if you have a table, you have a window, and you have white bed sheet to cover the window, so that as the sunlight is coming through, the sunlight won't come harsh and yellow. The bed sheet will now, whiteify that light, make it nice, make it smooth. You can get some good shots. Then you also make sure that your background is clean. If you're taking picture of food and then in the back people can see your children's toys, it's somehow. So you just clean up the whole place, before you take the shot. So those are the kind of things that we worry about now when we talk about photo quality. Any phone, whether it's Xiaomi or it's iPhone or anything in between, is good. You can start with that. You want to hire a professional photographer in the future? That's not a problem. But you can start with this for now. The most important thing is lighting. Let there be adequate light. Let the light not be harsh. Let it be smooth. Hence, I say white bed sheet. In case you're taking the picture late in the afternoon, white bed sheet will now soft, smooth everything. Make it nice and clean for you. The background, make sure that the background is clean. Don't take a picture of your food and then the towel that you use to bath in the morning is in the background. Children's toys are in the background. Or maybe your wife is watching Netflix and people can see her in the background. Make sure the background is clean. Then, plating is also a problem. Oh, well, it's not a problem. Something you have to pay attention to. Now, this is something I did not like when I was a photographer. So for me, I used to say, look, you are the chef. You are the one that will arrange the food. Me, I don't know anything about this. Arrange it as you like it. But there's an art to it. You have to arrange the food in a way that the colors will blend. There's a way that you plate it so that it look clean and appealing. Because there are some places. My wife took me to this joint. What's it called? Amala joint. Amala hot. Amala hot in Abuja. In which place again? Towards our pool side. And then we went there. So my wife bought amala. So what they did was they took the plate. They put the amala inside. I was now thinking they'll bring a separate plate. But no. They used this local, this thing that used to scoop eba and amala. They used it to press the amala down. They now poured the soup inside the middle of the amala. And I said, look, what is this? My wife is like, no, that is how they eat it. I said, look, this is terrible now. Like, what kind of rubbish is this? Because I'm from Benue State. The way we do it is you put the pounded yam in one place. You now put the soup in another place. Which one that you put the food in one plate? You now squeeze the middle down. You now come and pour the soup in the middle of the something. That thing just looked dirty. My own opinion, Sha. Those of you who are amala eaters and who are Yoruba people, I'm not insulting you guys, but for me, it just looks dirty. So, in my own opinion, Sha, if you're taking photos for Glovo, not everybody is a core amala eater like that. Maybe you should not take the picture that way. That you put the amala, you press the amala down, you now come and pour the gbegiri inside. I honestly think plate it. Put the amala one side, put the gbegiri one side, arrange the meat, arrange the everything, and then, I don't know, maybe stylishly put a bottle of Coke, chilled Coke that is sweating. Make the picture look appealing. So you understand, you get the gist. So that is it on photos, photo quality. Then for the menu descriptions, we want to make sure that we describe things in a very compelling and in a very appealing way. Don't just go and put amala and gbegiri, then leave it like that. Put some text. Since I'm not in the business, for now, I have to go and do some research. I cannot recommend any particular way of talking about the food, but you can't just put amala and gbegiri and leave it like that. We need to put some appealing text. There have been some Nigerian chefs who are even taking things a step further. They don't just do amala and gbegiri. They will try and, instead of putting the amala around, they will try and maybe put it in like ribbon format. I've seen something like that. And then they will now give it one gourmet name. You say it is one gourmet yam something. There's a way that they do it, and then you make it sound French. So, do all those stuff. Make sure that the menu, make sure all your text is appealing. Then another thing that I mentioned is this. Glovo, Jumia, Konga, what else? Amazon, all of them. Two-sided marketplaces where the app is there. Those of us that are vendors are there. Then my cousin that likes to eat, the customer, they are there. Or whatever service it is that you sell, the people who are going to be buying your product or your service, they are there. Now, these options, whether we like it or not, this is the honest truth. These people are there to make money. I want you guys to let that thing sink in. The person that created this Glovo app in Spain, the guy wants to make money. He didn't just create a marketplace so that he can connect you to your customers for free. Then he will not collect anything. That is the reason why these people, Glovo, Jumia, Amazon, Konga, they have opportunities for paid ads for increased visibility. So in other words, yes, I'll put, if the customer types amala and gbegiri, we'll show all the amala and gbegiri there. But if you pay me, Mr. Glovo, a small fee, I will put your own name on top. Or I'll put your own big so that other people will see you and decide to try your own. And to be honest, this is how these people make money. This is part of the ways that they make money. So let's not run away from that reality. The only thing is we should be asking ourselves, how much does the advertisement cost? How much can I afford to run now just to test to see whether this thing works? How much am I willing to risk? And what is the potential upside? Those are the questions we should be asking. But at some point, you can't say you're going to be on these apps and you're only going to do a free organic growth. The problem with organic growth is organic growth takes time. Organic growth means you don't do promo, you don't do advertisement, you don't pay to push in any way. So you expect people to find it on their own, to like it on their own, to refer it on their own. Let's be honest, that process takes time. If you have time, that is fine. If you don't have time, you might have to try more aggressive paid strategies. Then finally, I also pointed out that one of the reasons why somebody like Miracle can be on Glovo, I didn't say this is his own case, but I'm just saying it's also a possible reason why someone can be on these sorts of apps, Glovo, Konga, Jumia, Amazon, and business is not smooth, business is not working, is operational excellence. Operational excellence just means, do you guys deliver on time? When you deliver, is the food hot and fresh? What else? Okay, it's hot and fresh. Does the thing now taste good? What else? If it doesn't taste good and somebody is angry, is there a line that somebody can call for customer service? When the person calls for customer service, the person who answers the phone, is the person professional, polite, caring, willing to find out what happened so that they can resolve the problem? Or did you just hire one of your cousins from the village who doesn't give an F, and your cousin is rude and brash and turns customers off? These are all the things around operational excellence. So the thing is, you can optimize everything on Glovo correct. You select the right name. The logo is beautiful. The images are to die for, as in they are appealing. Your menu, your catalog, your words, everything is solid. Very, very good. But then if you mess up on this operational excellence, by the time the food gets to them is cold, or by the time the food gets to them, the food has started to smell, or they had a good whatever, there was one or two command, they called customer service, your cousin was now rude. These people will now go and give you 1 star. That's where everything will now cancel. Because remember, I said that on your storefront, your ratings will be there. And if people come and they see that 20 people tried you, out of the 20, 18 of them gave you 1 star, and then 2 people gave you 5 star, it's problem. People will not focus on the 2 people that gave you 5 star. They'll focus on the 18 that gave you 1 star. So operational excellence, that is what will now kill ratings and reviews. Why we need the rating and review is that is where referrals will come from. If somebody has a good, like let's say my wife goes on Glovo and she tries it and the amala is on point. She will tell me, no, I tried this app, the amala was on point, let's order. When she goes to work, she will now call her friends. Hey, Kelechi, you know how last time we went to this place, I have found another whatever, but this one is online. Let's order, let's try for lunch. That is where referrals will come from. Then, on the app itself, on the Glovo, on the Jumia, on the Amazon, on the whatever, since people are seeing the ratings and the reviews, they'll now be willing to give it a try. In marketing circles, we call that third-party validation. That means I'm thinking of buying something. I don't really know that thing, but I know that other people are saying that this thing is all right, or this thing is worth it. That is third-party validation. So operational excellence, we can't run away from operational excellence. And you can see how, because I say it on the podcast and some people don't get it, that growing sales, improving sales is a holistic thing. Some people think in terms of tactics. What will I say or how will I say it that will get people to buy? All that is important, which is why I talk about selling frameworks. but is a holistic something. Everything working together to grow sales at the end. Because if I give you the right talk track, if you have the perfect things to say, and you get people to buy, but then operational excellence is zero, you're digging your grave. It's that simple. No, I mean business grave. Nobody will die because of business in Jesus' name. But I'm just saying, business-wise, you're digging your grave. So, Miracle from Abuja. Would be nice if you get in touch again. Let's talk. Let's see if I can help you figure out exactly what it is going on. But for those of you who have heard that Glovo is popping off in your city and you want to give it a try, these are the things you should be paying attention to. Like I said, there are other things. But please, make sure you pick a nice name. Make sure your logo is nice and professionally done. Make sure your images, especially for those of you in food and fashion, I repeat, food and fashion, images, please pay attention. Doesn't have to be professional. Like I said, if you're next to a window and you have white bed sheets, you can be managing for now. Then your menu, your catalog, the way you describe everything has to be on point. The good thing nowadays is we have ChatGPT and Gemini. You can use those things to craft good descriptions of your products. And then please, I'm begging you guys, operational excellence at the end of the day. Because that will affect our ratings and our reviews. And it will help us to get referrals. And please, I'm begging you, it is nice to get families involved. But if your cousin from the village has not been properly trained, do not put him on the phone. He will run your business down. I'm telling you this thing from experience. My father wanted to be a good, upstanding member of the community and decided to get some of his cousins involved in business. And you don't need to watch African Magic to know how that turned out. As a boy, I saw it. Funny enough, me and my wife get married, and it turns out that even in my wife's family, there are some of those issues as well. And then funny enough, you meet other people and you hear similar stories in other families as well. Daddy or mommy decides to be nice. We set up a business, a boutique, a pharmacy, a taxi company, or whatever. You decide to involve uncle so and so or cousin so and so. They come and they crash the business. So I'm not saying don't hire your family members to do customer service or do whatever. Just train them first before you unleash your uncle on the phone and then he destroys your business. So that's all for today. Remember, if you have sales and marketing questions, you can call me. You can send me an SMS or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you at the next episode.